So Dean and Parker started their Unfuck America tour, and I just have to say that everything to do with this event just screams entitlement.
Oh no, we've caught the attention of the older millennial, and he's not pleased. This might be the most excited I've ever been to debunk the older millennial because I was there. I was one of the 30 content creators that was flown to Texas along with Dean and Parker to bring the debate directly to Charlie Kirk at Texas A&M. Let's hear what the older millennial, who was not there, has to say on the subject.
Because look, guys, if you wanted to start your own speaker series, start your own debate series on college campus, that makes sense.
You know, that's a fair point, and if we were going to go and start our own college campus tour where the point of it was to debate with people who don't agree with us, we would probably go somewhere that's very, very conservative, somewhere like the 12th most conservative college campus in the country, somewhere like Texas A&M. Now that I say it out loud, what in the world was Charlie Kirk doing at Texas A&M? That's friendly territory. Was he only looking for softball questions?
But that's not even what you're doing. No, what you did was wait until his people set up all their stuff, and then later in the afternoon you showed up and tried to sneak all your shit right next to him.
Look at you. You don't even know what time of day this happened. This whole thing started at 12 noon. There was no later in the afternoon. The attempted setup was the night before, because we had a PA system and a tent and a booth reserved a spot about 20 feet away from Charlie Kirk's setup. At 5 p.m. the day before the event, Texas A&M reached out to our organization and said, oh, by the way, the permit that you had reserved for almost a month to be 20 feet away from Charlie Kirk, yeah, you can't be there anymore. That's what happened.
Which campus security was like, yo, he has this whole area reserved.
Wrong and wrong. It was not campus security that told us we couldn't be there. It was Texas A&M administration. And he didn't have the whole area reserved because, like I said, we had our spot 20 feet away from him reserved for almost a month.
You then moved about 10 minutes walking distance away.
We were not then moved as if it happened that morning. That was what was told to us when they told us that we couldn't be where we had been reserved for a month. The college told us it was going to be about 1,500 feet away from where Charlie was set up. So with the two PA systems, it would still be possible to have a contrasting of ideas in real time. It was not 1,500 feet away. As you said, it was 10 minutes, closer to a 15-minute walk, almost a half a mile away.
And because your event drew a crowd of a dozen, and he had hundreds of people at his event.
Well, now you're just hurting us and Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk had closer to thousands and we had closer to hundreds. Which was probably the goal of the campus, or Charlie Kirk, or both. I don't know whose decision it was to push us where we were, but we were out of earshot. Nobody could hear us and nobody knew where we were, and we couldn't advertise ahead of time where we were going to be.
You then sent people over to his event to yell over and talk shit about how he's afraid to debate you.
Incorrect. We were there from the beginning of his event. When we knew we weren't going to be able to set up and shop next to him, we just figured we'd stick around and try to get questions asked like any other student.
Do you understand how entitled that is? Like, you're not even a student at that campus. And the point of the event is to talk to students from these different campuses.
That's not the point. At least that's not what Charlie Kirk advertises what the point is. The point is to debate him. The point is to prove him wrong. Look, it's not my words. It's his. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Says so on his little $20 pop-up tent there from Walmart. Look, that's Charlie. Prove me wrong. The whole point, he wants to debate with people. He wants to be proven wrong, apparently. He wants dissenting opinions, which again begs the question, what were you doing at Texas A&M?
But even though you don't go there, you felt that you deserve the right to have a full-on debate with him and ignore the rest of the students there that were there to talk.
So it's clear to me that you've never seen Charlie Kirk actually do one of these events. It's rare for people to get more than 2, maybe 3 questions and 5 minutes tops. I don't think you can fairly categorize that as an entire debate taking up so much time that all the other people there to want to ask him questions would be ignored.
And I also love the fact that you had to pay $6,000 for security, even though security isn't required, but you needed it to feel safe.
Yeah, we did have our own private security team lined up for a lot less than the thousands of dollars that Texas A&M wanted to charge us for using campus police. But also, at 5 p.m. the night before the event when they pulled our permits, that's when they also informed us that we couldn't have our private security team that we've already paid for. So yes, Texas A&M did basically extort us for thousands of dollars to use campus police. But it's interesting that you laugh at the fact that we wanted to have security there with us, because let me show you something. Quick question. Who do you think that is with the badge and the walkie-talkie there? Who do you think that is? Who do you think that is? Who do you think that is? That's Charlie Kirk security. And you can't even see the people on the other side of the tent or behind the shrubbery here because there's a sidewalk and there was 2 people stationed there looking the other way. So, you gonna laugh at his security or just ours? And that's basically it. The older millennial goes on to talk for another 20 or 30 seconds, but he just repeats the same stuff he said in the very beginning of the video so he can make sure the video is long enough to make money off the disinformation he's spreading. So the moral of the story is please don't take anything the older millennial says as truth, especially anything about the Texas A&M event with Charlie Kirk, because I was there. He wasn't.